Hello, I'm Eileen McHugh with the BBC News. Russia, Iran and Turkey have suspended diplomatic operations at their consulates in the northern Afghan city of Mazar-e-Sharif as the Taliban make sweeping advances across the region. The speed of the Taliban advance has raised concerns that the Afghan military will collapse once US and international troops complete their withdrawal. Yogota Lamai is in Kabul.
As foreign forces are leaving, violence is rising, and it's a very sharp escalation. The Afghan government and its forces are battling the Taliban in as many as 20 of this country's 34 provinces. We are hearing every day claims from the Taliban that it's taken over new districts. Over the last couple of days, we've particularly heard from the province of Badakhshan that they've taken over districts. We've also heard of defections of Afghan soldiers crossing over the border into Tajikistan to try to escape.
The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has confirmed that he intends to lift all coronavirus restrictions 2 weeks from now, with a final decision next week. Mr. Johnson outlined what this would mean.
We will remove all legal limits on the numbers meeting indoors and outdoors. We will allow all businesses to reopen, including nightclubs. We will lift the limit on named visitors to care homes and on numbers of people attending concerts, theatre and sports events. We will end the 1 metre plus rule on social distancing and the legal obligation to wear a face covering, although guidance will suggest where you might choose to do so, especially when cases are rising and where you come into contact with people you don't normally meet in enclosed spaces, such as obviously crowded public transport.
But government scientific advisors say the incidence of the COVID-19 is significant and there are risks involved. A court in Honduras has found a former executive of a construction company guilty of masterminding the murder of the high-profile indigenous and environmental campaigner Berta Cáceres. 7 other men, including the hired assassins, had already been convicted for their role in her death. Our America's editor, Leonardo Rocha, reports.
The court ruled that David Castillo planned the murder and hired the gunman who killed Berta Cáceres in her home in southwestern Honduras in 2016. Ms. Cáceres had been leading the fight against the Aquasarca hydroelectric dam project in indigenous lands. The contract to build the dam had been awarded to Mr. Castillo's company, DESA. Mr. Castillo, who was also a former military intelligence advisor, will be sentenced at a later date. But for the family of Berta Cáceres and campaigners, there's a sense of relief. They fear that he would walk free because of his connections in government and business.
BBC News. Israel's new government is facing a test in Parliament as it seeks to extend a ban on the granting of citizenship to Palestinians from the occupied territories who marry Israeli Arabs. The Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, who's from a far-right faction, favors the ban on security grounds, but left-wing and Arab members of his coalition say the law is discriminatory. At least 140 students are feared to have been kidnapped in northwest Nigeria following the latest attack on a school. Miney Jones is in Lagos.
We spoke to a parent who told us that in the early hours of Monday morning, around 2 a.m., a number of armed gunmen stormed a Baptist school in Kaduna. They came in through the back, they knocked down a fence. A mother we spoke to said there were as many as 60 gunmen, and they abducted the students with them. This is happening at a time when kidnapping is increasing right across Nigeria. There's an economic crisis here brought on by the fall in the price of oil and the lockdown during the COVID-19 pandemic. Unemployment is on the rise, and it seems that many criminals are turning to kidnapping as a way of making money.
The campaign group Reporters Without Borders has put the leader of a European Union member state on its blacklist for the first time. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban joined 36 other leaders in the group's Predators of Press Freedom gallery. It's said that under his tenure, his party had secured control of 80% of the media. Independent journalists were vilified as purveyors of fake news. The French Senate has blocked the latest attempt to bind future governments to a constitutional guarantee that they will fight climate change and preserve biodiversity. The concept emerged from a public consultation that President Emmanuel Macron arranged in reaction to Yellow Vest anti-government protests. President Macron has promised a referendum, but that can't happen until the lower house and upper house agree on a text. BBC News.